Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my full Marvel What If Season 3, Episode 3 video, Big Red Guardian Winter Soldier team up, because we're going to be seeing them during the Thunderbolts movie. I bet that's why they put them together in this episode, but also they want to put Red Guardian on the Avengers. It's sort of like a planes, trains, and automobiles, Deadpool and Wolverine team-up movie kind of situation, so we'll break it all down. There's a bunch of Easter eggs and references, and basically an alternate history for the creation of the Avengers because things go down so differently in this universe with Howard Stark and Maria Stark not dying. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We're getting one episode per day too, so like my episode 4 video will post tomorrow on Christmas Day. The episode title was, What If the Red Guardian Stopped the Winter Soldier, which is a reference to Red Guardian stopping Winter Soldier from killing Iron Man's parents, Howard Stark and Maria, which directly led to the later events of Captain America Civil War, with the Avengers being torn apart, all the Winter Soldiers that were created by Hydra, the multiple Winter Soldiers, led to a lot more of Tony Stark's daddy issues in the events of the first Iron Man movie. Although at the end of the episode, we see that Iron Man is in his regular suit of armor during the first Avengers movie, doing that scene from the live-action MCU version of the Avengers movie. Meaning that even though his father never died, like he was around this whole time, there was no Obadiah Stane, like he never experienced the events of the first Iron Man movie, something happened to cause him to still become Iron Man. Whole lot of questions about that. Like, there's so many questions that they raised. This episode is so short, they don't have time to answer them. Like, wait a minute, what happened? Like, what went differently in Iron Man's life that he still became Iron Man? I guess no matter what happens in the timeline, Tony Stark will still always have those same daddy issues. The opening music is new, but we get the same Marvel animation logo, with the episode starting the same way they started the Captain America Civil War movie, with the surveillance footage from 1991 December of Winter Soldier killing Howard Stark and Maria Stark to steal the super soldier serum. The Watcher narrates those events. Ironic that it's December because we're watching this like they premiered the episode in December. And it's revealed in this universe that Red Guardian basically hijacked that same mission that Winter Soldier was sent on by the Red Room. They also tie the Red Room to this too. In the MCU, that's not quite the case. There are a couple of connections that they make in the episode, like the whole idea that Obadiah Stane was behind the actual killing of Howard Stark and Maria Stark. They didn't really get into that during the MCU movies and Captain America Civil War, so we'll talk about that when we get to that part. But the idea is that Red Guardian inadvertently causes Winter Soldier to botch the mission, and that's how Howard Stark and Maria Stark wind up surviving. Within the comics, the whole idea is that Hydra is meant to be its own separate cell inside the Soviet government. So the whole idea is they've infiltrated all these world governments, the US government. We saw that during the Winter Soldier movie. That Siberian base where Hydra kept Winter Soldier didn't really have any connection with the Red Room, although they probably also infiltrated the Red Room too. But I think Dreykov was not meant to be connected to Hydra, like he himself was not Hydra. Red Guardian was created by Dreykov, though, in the MCU, like he was his pet project before he created this new programming for the Black Widows. They were basically meant to replace Red Guardian. But at least in this universe, they explained that Dreykov does call the shots for the Winter Soldier and what's happening with the Hydra cell in Siberia, like he controls it through the Red Room. So I think they're saying that this version of Dreykov in this universe is Hydra. We see Dreykov trying to give Red Guardian his covert mission that we saw him on during the events of the Black Widow movie at the beginning when they'd been living as that fake family in America. The whole idea is that he was sent there to infiltrate this government facility to steal some information for the Red Room, posing as a common working schlub, and the others were meant to be his family, like Melina, Black Widow, Natasha, as well as Yelena Belova. He's pissed because he thinks it's beneath him. He wants a way more hardcore assignment. Notice the picture on Dreykov's desk. That's his daughter, who then turned into the new Taskmaster of the MCU after Hawkeye and Black Widow tried to kill him by blowing up his building. She was caught in the blast just as collateral damage. As you probably saw, Taskmaster will be back in the Thunderbolts movie. She's in the trailer, but she's not in a lot of the later trailer footage, so we'll see what happens to her later in the movie. Dreykov mentions an American sleeper agent called the Rook, which we find is the Obadiah Stane, who basically sold out Howard Stark to the Russians in exchange for them killing him because he wanted to take over Stark Industries, so he wanted Howard Stark dead. So he basically told them, you can have the super soldier serum for yourselves, but you have to kill Howard Stark for me so that I can have the company. Which is actually a big plot element during that first Iron Man movie, with him trying to push Tony Stark aside so that he can take sole control of the company. Dreykov then orders Hydra to send Winter Soldier to steal the super soldier serum and go on that mission to kill Howard Stark, Red Guardian getting super jealous of him. He implies he'll quit the Russian military and defect to America. That's what he means when he says he'll go somewhere that appreciates him. That's basically his arc in the episode, defecting with Winter Soldier trying to save his life and eventually joining the Avengers. All because his whole life has been a lie, like all this bullcrap that Dreykov has been feeding him. He then jokes about him joining S.H.I.E.L.D., which ironically is exactly what Black Widow also did later in the timeline. We also saw Black Widow in that lineup of the Avengers at the end of the episode too, meaning that at some point she still became a Black Widow, even though she didn't go on the mission with Red Guardian that she did in the Black Widow movie, but later she still defected with Hawkeye's help and Nick Fury. So it does seem like a lot of later events in the MCU still went down in very similar ways, even though some key plot points were very, very different. The episode is mostly meant to be a road trip comedy. That's why I made the planes, trains, and automobiles comp. I think they were also kind of going for a lot of the energy of Deadpool and Wolverine, where it's like an action comedy, basically. We see both of them heading to America. They pull Winter Soldier out of cryo. These scenes are all meant to mirror the scenes from the beginning of the Civil War movie. Red Guardian flying Coach, playing the Game Boy, because this is the early 90s, so Game Boy would still be relatively fresh. Notice that he's also playing Tetris, because Tetris, also like one of the most popular games in the history of the world, but it was also created in Russia, where he's flying from. There's actually a famous behind-the-scenes picture that you may have seen online of Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans on a flight somewhere while they were filming one of the Avengers movies, playing Game Boys with a special link cable. It's like probably one of the greatest behind-the-scenes Avengers pictures that they've ever released. Whole lot of brother and sister energy going on there, like the Avengers are a family in real life and in the movies. The other joke they follow up here is when he enters U.S. Customs, he uses his David Harbour regular normal speaking voice because he is American, so that's why his American accent sounds so perfect. When he's speaking as Red Guardian, it's a fake Russian accent. Some of you may have even spotted some of the moments during the Thunderbolts trailer where he slips into his American accent on accident. This scene where Winter Soldier is taking out his limousine, you can kind of hear his American accent just a little bit poking out, like, nope, gonna have to redub that. Red Guardian then hijacks Winter Soldier's mission, trying to get in on the win, because if he brings back the Super Soldier Serum, he thinks he'll be celebrated by the Red Room and Dreykov. Winter Soldier's energy here is very much like Bucky's energy during the Thunderbolts trailer, like zero tolerance for the nonsense of Red Guardian or any of these other characters. Sebastian Stan also said there's a lot of this in the Thunderbolts movie too, like he brings them together as a team, but for a lot of the movie, he really, really wants to kill them. Their whole fight scene here is meant to be a parody of his fight with Captain America in the Winter Soldier movie. Great fight, like probably one of the best fights that they've ever done in the MCU. But this time, Red Guardian is using his shield, and he's in his prime too, which we haven't seen before. All of his fight scenes we've seen so far in the MCU were in the Black Widow movie, and it wasn't so much a fight scene as it was him trying not to get killed by Taskmaster. My assumption is they'll give him some stronger moments during the Thunderbolts movie, like they'll give him a couple big wins. Typically, though, the movies are also just content to use him for comedic relief. They actually make a pretty big deal about his shield during this episode, and if it wasn't clear, it's not made of vibranium the way the Captain America's shield is, like it's just made of normal metal. He winds up causing Winter Soldier to botch the mission because the cops show up before he can kill Iron Man's parents, and they wind up destroying most of the Super Soldier Serum. Dreykov gets really pissed at him for the first time, Red Guardian makes a crack about the Red Room, and then they also reveal this is meant to be Bucky's first failure while he was full-on Winter Soldier. That's sort of part of the myth of Winter Soldier inside the MCU, the way they talk about him before they learn that it is Bucky, is that he's meant to be this killing machine that has never been stopped. They reveal that S.H.I.E.L.D. has sent Bill Foster, aka Giant Man, to investigate what happened to Howard Stark, because Howard Stark, high-ranking member of S.H.I.E.L.D., and S.H.I.E.L.D. would know what's up with the Super Soldier Serum, like Bill Foster shows up knowing that he was carrying the Super Soldier Serum. As you probably detected, Lawrence Fishburne also came back to voice the character. He's listed on the IMDb for the Thunderbolts movie. We'll see if that's correct, and he does wind up having a cameo in that as part of the Ghost storyline, because she's going to be on the Thunderbolts. They introduced the Ranger Morales character. Might sound familiar. It's America Ferrara, who was just in the Barbie movie. Her daughter in that movie was also played by Ariana Greenblatt, who was also young Gamora during Avengers Infinity War. So like the circle of cameos is now complete. The follow-up question you're probably asking, is she related to Miles Morales? Like this is the 90s, so like obviously Miles Morales hasn't been born yet. But the way the producers explained it, that's just meant to be a coincidence, like she's not tied to Miles Morales Spider-Man. But there is an actual Miles Morales who exists inside the MCU. They canonized him during the first Spider-Man Homecoming movie. Tom Holland has talked about doing Miles Morales in the live-action Spider-Man movies. We'll see. The way that they talked about it on the Sony side of things is they do plan on doing a live-action Miles Morales Spider-Man movie, but not till after Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, so it's going to be at least like 3-4 years before we might see that live-action Miles Morales. The Ranger Morales character isn't meant to be someone from the comics either, like they just created her for the episode. I kind of wondered if she was going to join S.H.I.E.L.D. at the end of the episode too, but her storyline kind of goes nowhere. That's one of the major weaknesses of this really short what-if episodes, these one-offs, is that a lot of times the storylines just won't go anywhere. She calls the super soldier serum blue cookie monster blood, but Bill Foster knows that it is the super soldier serum. They do the needle drop joke where he explains how badass Winter Soldier and Red Guardian are killing machines because they're super soldiers, unstoppable. It's meant to be a bit of a Terminator joke, like he will not stop until you are dead.
And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Only to reveal that Red Guardian is being a total idiot trying to order a burger and fries. You can just hear in the background someone saying, "Sir, this is a Wendy's." That's basically the bit that they're doing here with this. Winter Soldier charms her, and that's also meant to be a bit of a joke about how popular Sebastian Stan is with all the ladies in the live-action MCU movies. Seriously, I have never met a woman in line for a Marvel movie who was not a huge stan of Sebastian Stan. When they steal the muscle car, I think the other joke here with this guy, the blonde hair, is also meant to be a comp to comic book Steve Rogers, who in the comics is way more blonde than Chris Evans. They kind of lightened his hair and made it like a little bit blonde during the first Captain America movie, but as they got on in the future Captain America movies and the Avengers movies, they slowly stopped really caring about it and just let him be a brunette Captain America. They head to Vegas, setting out the whole car chase with Bill Foster and Officer Morales. They mention Bucky's sister at the checkpoint. He does actually have a sister in the MCU with a family of her own, but because he's been in cryo for so long, she's way older now. They reference them during Falcon and Winter Soldier, so like he has a ton of cousins and like nieces and nephews many times removed, but I don't think he's actually made contact with them yet. The big reveal here, though, is Bill Foster going full Giant Man and chasing them down in Giant Man form. The suit is meant to be the same one that we saw him wearing in the 1980s Avengers episode during Season 2. And even though he is a big, dumb idiot, Red Guardian still surprisingly effective at taking him down with his shield. They do a big Thelma and Louise parody with them driving off the cliff. When Red Guardian says, "I have nowhere else to be today," I think that's actually what they said in the movie when they did this. And remember, that was a Ridley Scott movie that came out in 1991, the same year when this is happening. This is actually meant to be happening just after the movie came out, so it's possible the Red Guardian actually saw that Thelma and Louise movie, and that's why he made this reference. They had that funny moment with the split-screen reaction from everyone, including the Watcher, of all people. It's kind of weird that the Watcher would be surprised by this. Then they wind up bonding over their wounds a little bit, and they start to set up the whole storyline with Red Guardian helping Bucky break his mental programming so that he doesn't listen to the commands. And because this was way earlier in the timeline, he still doesn't remember that he is Bucky or anything about Steve Rogers. That didn't really happen until the events of Captain America Winter Soldier, but because of what's happening right now, Red Guardian starts triggering some of those memories to slowly come back, like he starts to remember Coney Island, which is basically him slowly remembering the events of the first Captain America movie. Dreykov gives him the order to kill Red Guardian, which he fights till later in the episode. They steal what looks like a Ferrari and take it the rest of the way to Vegas. This feels like a bit of a Miami Vice reference too with their outfits, just the whole vibe of the scene. Notice they're also wearing the same colors as their supersuits. That feels kind of on the nose. Then they do the big reveal of Obadiah Stane being the Rook. So, like I said, they didn't really get into this during the live-action MCU movies like the first Iron Man movie, or even when they did the big Winter Soldier Howard Stark reveal during Captain America Civil War. I think they just added that in canon now for the purposes of this episode in this universe. But it is possible that Obadiah Stane did have something to do with Howard Stark's death in the MCU. He claims he sold Howard Stark out to the Red Room, and in exchange they were going to get the super soldier serum and kill Howard Stark for him so that he could control Stark Industries. Like I said, this is basically something that he does during the events of the first Captain America movie too, trying to take over control of the company from Tony Stark. I just did a big Ironheart trailer video, so I'll post a link for that in the description below, but during that we actually see footage of Zeke Stane, his son, who's going to be teaming up with Riri Williams. I don't know if he's going to be karate kidding her during the episode, or if they'll wind up making him a good character who actually tries to help her. All those episodes won't happen till like the end of 2025, so it's going to be a long time before we actually see those. Red Guardian then realizing who Obadiah Stane is, has a crisis of faith when he realizes the Red Room has been feeding him a whole bunch of bullcrap and they've been working with capitalist pigs themselves. So like his whole life has been a lie. He questions everything. Winter Soldier also then reveals that Dreykov ordered him to kill him, which leads him to want to defect. Like, okay, fine, that makes up my mind. I'm not going back to Russia now. They kill Obadiah Stane after he tries to kill them. Like I said, this changes a lot of future plot for Tony Stark Iron Man, because remember, the whole reason why he became Iron Man in the first place is because he was attacked by the 10 Rings who were in league with Obadiah Stane. So the reason why he became Iron Man in this universe would have had to have been totally different, like some other big WTF event. You can let me know in the comments what you think that was, like what caused him to become Iron Man. Bill Foster and Morales show up to chase them through the casino again. He goes Giant Man again, chasing them through the strip. They have a pretty decent fight scene here too. Like they show off their super soldier abilities and how they would work against Giant Man. There is an Olympia billboard in the background that made me think of the Eternals, but from the comics. In Marvel Comics, Olympia is where their secret base is meant to be, not the Domo ship like the MCU. Not to be confused with Mount Olympus, which is where the Greek gods in the Marvel Comics actually live, who live on Earth. In the MCU, it's a little bit different. Like in the movies, they got a little muddled with that. Russell Crowe's Zeus in the MCU, the other Greek gods, mostly just live on Omnipotent City because he was currently the god of gods of the MCU, basically like the king of all gods. They get cornered in the abandoned casino, and Red Guardian helps Winter Soldier override his programming commands. Like they reveal that Hydra does have a man on the ground right there trying to shout commands at him. He destroys the last remaining super soldier serum, meaning that the Russians and Hydra never get more super soldiers. They make it seem like they both wind up escaping, like they both make it through Bill Foster and Morales, all the police here. Winter Soldier goes back to Hydra of his own accord so that he can lie to Dreykov about killing Red Guardian so that he won't continue to try and go after Red Guardian, revealing that he's hiding out somewhere in America as a gym teacher, speaking with his normal David Harbour American accent, using the name Bob Toledo, which he was supposed to use as his cover name when Dreykov was going to send him on that Black Widow spy mission. Bill Foster shows up, Nick Fury, Iron Man post-credit style, to recruit him to S.H.I.E.L.D. and eventually the Avengers. Like they played the Avengers theme music with him doing the poster pose, the S.H.I.E.L.D. in front of that American flag. This is meant to be a direct Iron Man post-credit scene comp, like I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers initiative. Then they jump forward in time, show the Avengers Battle of New York, this time with Red Guardian fighting with them and Captain America too, meaning there's 7 original Avengers in this universe, and the others also have this funny moment with the looks on their faces, like they kind of can't stand Red Guardian just because he's a big dumb animal. We will see both of them come back during the Thunderbolts movie, which is happening right after Captain America 4, Brave New World. The whole reason why I think they did Red Guardian joining the Avengers in an episode here is because they're kind of doing that during the Thunderbolts movie, but with the Dark Avengers. Part of the whole thing in that movie is that the asterisk in the Thunderbolts title is like the temporary placeholder for the Avengers. Like Val is going to put together her own new Avengers team and is going to be the Thunderbolts characters. Sebastian Stan's Winter Soldier is basically going to be the one to put that team together. Sebastian Stan also separately talked about trying to get Marvel to make a Winter Soldier TV series about his missions during the Cold War era when he was still Hydra. Like, what was he doing before he tried to kill Howard Stark? That would probably be how they end the series. Like, they end the series with him going on the mission to kill Howard Stark. Maybe someday Marvel will do that because that feels like a slam dunk series, just like Winter Soldier tearing it up on a whole bunch of missions, killing people. But there's a bunch of big stuff coming up this week. We're getting a new episode every day. My episode 4 video will post tomorrow. It's supposed to be the Howard the Duck episode. We also have a Skeleton Crew episode 5. I'll post that video tomorrow too. And because it is Christmas Day when that'll be happening, I'll try to get those videos out as fast as possible. Gonna be moving a little bit slower on Christmas Day because of reasons. But if there's any other Easter eggs or references that you spotted in the episode that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. And make sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of that big stuff this week. Everybody click here to learn about the new Flash Easter eggs in the new Superman trailer and the new version of the Flash that James Gunn just talked about. And click here for all my What If episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.